So I'm just going to speak to you for like 5 minutes just about all the reasons Emmerdale is fucking shit. So if that was true stories, if that was true story, you'd be in a form and nothing had happened. Apart from somebody hits a pheasant once. That's all that happens. But no, I'm not going to talk about Emmerdale for 5 minutes because I only made up that for about 30 seconds and I've run out of ideas. But it's like I've been quite skint recently. You know, I've been like so skint that I considered prostitution. But that's just another expense. My name's Shaun Packowski, but don't let the surname fool you, because it is Polish, but me, really lazy. Because that's a stereotype, isn't it? Like hard-working builder sorts, which is mental to me, because the only thing I've ever bricked is my sister's window. The problem is I was raised in Stoke-on-Trent, and when that happens, nobody ever tells you that you're supposed to do things like get a job. If you've never been to Stoke, just imagine Birkenhead, but with less class. Honestly, it's such a shithole that art students have started going there on a gap year to find themselves. But then I'm glad that nobody taught me how to do life properly anyway, because it's a lot of effort, isn't it? All that healthy eating, exercise, weighing your head, which if you don't know how to do that, you have to get a bucket, and then you fill it to the brim with water, and then you just dip your head in, and you can tell by the amount of water that's being displaced how heavy your head is. I've checked. Doesn't work with cats. And they do not have 9 lives either. But I know what you're thinking. I'm a straight white male. I should be giving you my opinions on something. So there's a couple of things on feminism I've noticed, because I'm clearly the best placed person to mention these. So catcalling was brought to my attention recently. It turns out there's actually 2 types of catcalling. There's a standard one where you're shouting, and then there's a second type where you go pss, 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 which is the universal term when you don't know the cat's name. And then slut shaming, people aren't a fan of that. Not as popular as slut dropping, which I haven't looked into this, but I think it's when you punch a bitch out. Don't know. But I live in Manchester. I've moved back there recently. Obviously, I lived there before, and then I moved down to Worcester for a while. And when I started my new job down there, one of my new colleagues was a Scouse guy. Now, it turns out that whole Manchester-Liverpool rivalry gets completely brushed aside when you meet each other down south. As soon as you have one conversation where you go, weird down here, innit? Have you noticed they get upset when you call them a dickhead? So we'd always have a load of banter whenever we saw each other. But then one night, I walk in a bar, and I see him the opposite side of the room, and I'm like, oh, I've got him. Now, as well as being Scouse, he was also blind. So I walked straight up to him, and I went, mate, I'm sick of it. So, what? I went, I won't stand for it anymore. I'm sick of it. And he went, what? I went, being Scouse and blind. Mate, you need to pick one disability and stick with it. Now, he pissed himself laughing and went, and I'm black. But then I looked up and all my colleagues had stood there going, no, you can't be doing this. Now, I don't know if you've ever had to explain to HR that you weren't taking the piss out of someone for their disability. You were taking the piss out of them because of where they came from. But they don't really like it either way. But I like it when people get offended on behalf of somebody else. Because I assume to them it feels like they've just walked into the room and jumped in front of a bullet. Whereas to me, it feels more like somebody's just walked into my kitchen, picked up my knife, stabbed themselves at the chest and gone, why? Because it's happened to me once before. Now, I was at a house party, and I was with a couple of friends who were both black guys, which is relevant. It's fine. Now, they walked up to each other and went, what up, my N-word? Now, I've had a drink. And I go, oh, I'm sick of this. And he's like, what? It's like, I can't say that. And I'm like, no, you can. You're our mate. You can say it with us. We know you're not racist. Now, as a skinny white guy, being told that you can say the N-word, it was Christmas. So the next time I see them is in a bar, and I walk straight over to them. I'm like, this is it. This is my moment. I'm going to do it. So I walk straight over and go, what up, my neighbour? Because I'm not going to say it on stage. I'm not a fucking idiot. Now, they piss themselves laughing, but then suddenly a little blonde girl appears from nowhere and goes, you can't say that. And it's like, no, I can't. Don't worry about it. These are my mates. It's a joke between us. She went, no, you can't say that. And it's like, mate, will you tell her? And he looks at me, looks at her, and looks back and goes, actually, Shaun, I think as my friend, you should know better than to use that word so casually. What? And he went, that word has been used for generations to put down people of colour, and I think you should know better. Now, I'm sitting there going, what? And then he takes one step behind the girl and goes, ah! Now, what I discovered on that day, doesn't matter what race or religion your friends are, all of them will fuck you over for a laugh given half a chance. It's a good job it's the end of the night. It's definitely time for you to go home, innit? Right, you've been lovely. Have a good evening. Cheers.